I spent 4 days stitching a quilt for my granddaughter Lily's 6th birthday. At 68, my fingers ached from arthritis, but I threaded each needle with care, picking out soft pinks and purples she loved. Every square told a story: her first bike ride, her favorite teddy bear, the day we planted daisies in my garden. I wanted it to wrap her in love, something to hold close when I wasn't there. My son Michael said his wife, Sarah, wanted to buy a fancy blanket from a boutique in downtown Seattle, but I insisted. I've been sewing since I was a girl, I told him. Let me make this for her. The quilt was my gift, my heart in every stitch, but I wondered if it would be enough for Sarah's perfect standards. That morning, I folded the quilt carefully into a box, my hands trembling from the effort. The Seattle spring was chilly, with a damp breeze that made my joints ache more than usual. I drove my old Honda across town to their house in Queen Anne, a modern place with tall windows and sharp edges. It always felt too clean, too cold, not like the cozy home Michael grew up in. He'd done well as a lawyer, and at 40, he could afford the life Sarah wanted. I parked, checked the quilt one last time, and carried it to their door, my heart pounding with hope and a strange fear I couldn't name. Michael opened the door with a tired smile. "Mom, you're early," he said, giving me a quick hug. His eyes darted to the box. "Is that the quilt?" I nodded, proud but nervous. I want it to be a surprise for Lily. He led me inside, where the living room was already buzzing with party prep. Balloons shaped like butterflies floated above tables covered in pink tablecloths. Sarah was on the phone in the kitchen, her voice sharp. "No," I said, "pastel pink, not hot pink. Fix it before the guests arrive." She glanced at me, gave a quick wave, and went back to her call. I stood there in my simple sweater and jeans, feeling out of place in their polished world. I set the quilt box on the kitchen counter, next to a glossy gift bag with a boutique logo. "What's this?" I asked Michael, my stomach tightening. He rubbed his neck, avoiding my eyes. "Oh, Sarah got a blanket as a backup, just in case." The words hit like a slap. A backup. As if my quilt, my weeks of work, might not be good enough. I forced a smile. "2 gifts are better than 1, right?" I said, but my voice shook. Michael started to reply, but Sarah swept in, ending her call with a sigh. At 35, she was stunning, blonde hair in a sleek bun, not a wrinkle in her tailored dress. "Eleanor, you're here," she said, her smile tight. "I wanted to help set up," I explained, gesturing to the quilt. Her eyes flicked to the box, then to the gift bag. "You actually made it?" she said, her tone sharp, like she was surprised I'd bothered. "Of course," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I told Michael I would." Sarah's smile didn't reach her eyes. "That's sweet. Very homemade. We'll put it with the other gifts." She opened the boutique bag, pulling out a fluffy pink blanket with delicate embroidery. "This is the main gift for Lily's birthday photos. It's monogrammed, see? The boutique did an amazing job." My throat tightened. "I thought my quilt was for the main gift," I said softly. "It's special for Lily." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "Eleanor, I appreciate the effort, but this party is important. Lily's whole kindergarten class is coming, plus our friends. We need everything to look perfect." Michael stepped in, his voice gentle. "Mom, your quilt is great. We'll use both, okay? Lily will love it." But I saw the truth in his eyes. He was trying to keep the peace as always. "Which one will Lily open first?" I asked, already knowing the answer. The silence was heavy. Sarah turned away, fussing with a tray of cupcakes. My quilt, weeks of love and pain, was pushed to the side, just like me. I excused myself to the backyard, needing air before the tears came. The yard was a fairy tale: butterfly decorations, a bounce house, a table piled with perfect gifts. I busied myself straightening napkins, trying to feel useful, but my heart ached. The guests arrived soon after, kids laughing, parents chatting, Sarah playing the perfect host. I stayed by the drinks table, pouring lemonade, smiling at strangers. Lily ran in from a play date, her dark curls bouncing. "Grandma," she shouted, hugging my legs. "Did you see the butterflies? They're everywhere." I knelt down, ignoring the pain in my knees. "I sure did, sweetheart. I made you something special, too. A quilt with all our memories." Her eyes lit up. "With the daisies we planted?" I nodded, my heart full. Can I see it? She asked. It's a surprise for later, I said, hoping it would still matter. She ran off to the bounce house, and I watched her, wondering if my gift would ever be enough. As the party went on, Sarah's parents, Richard and Linda Carter, arrived with a huge gift wrapped in shiny paper. They lived in Bellevue, a wealthy suburb, and always acted like Michael had married up. Linda greeted me with a cool smile. Eleanor, still in that little apartment by the park? She asked. I nodded, used to her jabs. It suits me. Richard, a retired banker, clapped Michael on the back, talking about investments. I felt invisible, like I didn't belong in this world of theirs. The party was perfect, games, face painting, everything planned to the minute. But I felt like an outsider, watching my own family from a distance. When it was time for the gifts, Sarah called everyone to the dining room. The boutique blanket sat on a special stand, glowing under the lights. My quilt was on a side table, half hidden by cupcakes. Everyone gather around, Sarah said. We're opening Lily's main gift. Lily climbed onto a chair, her eyes bright. But then she looked around, confused. Where's Grandma's quilt? She asked. The one with the daisies? The room went quiet. Sarah's smile froze. Sweetie, we're opening this special blanket first, she said. Grandma's quilt is over there for later. Lily's lip trembled. But I want Grandma's quilt. She made it for me. Sarah's voice sharpened. Lily, we set up this blanket for the photos. It's what we planned. Lily's eyes filled with tears. No. I want Grandma's quilt. Michael looked helpless, caught between his daughter and his wife. The guests shifted, uncomfortable. I stepped forward, my voice soft. It's okay, Lily. We can open both. Sarah turned to me, her eyes cold. Eleanor, we've got this under control. You're making this harder than it needs to be. The word useless didn't come out, but I felt it in her tone, in the way she dismissed my effort. I stood there, heartbreaking, wondering if I'd ever fit in their perfect world. Little did I know, this moment was just the start of a bigger fight, one that would test my strength and change everything. The room felt smaller as Lily's cries echoed, her little hands clutching the edge of the chair. I want Grandma's quilt, she repeated, her voice breaking. Sarah's face tightened, her perfect smile gone. I stood frozen, my heart pounding, wanting to comfort Lily but afraid to make things worse. Michael knelt beside her, whispering, It's okay, sweetie. We'll open Grandma's quilt too. But Sarah shot him a look, sharp as a knife. Michael, we planned this, she hissed. The guests pretended not to notice, sipping their drinks, but I felt their eyes on me, like I was the one causing trouble. I wanted to disappear, but Lily's tearful face kept me rooted. Eleanor, maybe you should check the dessert table, Sarah said, her voice cold but polite, like she was dismissing a servant. The word useless hung in the air, unspoken but heavy. I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat, and walked to the side table where my quilt sat, ignored. The cupcakes were perfect, each one topped with a tiny butterfly, but my quilt looked out of place, like me. I smoothed its edges, remembering the nights I'd stayed up late, stitching under the dim light of my apartment. My fingers sore but my heart full of love for Lily. I heard Sarah's voice again, bright and forced. Let's sing happy birthday. The crowd joined in, and Lily, still sniffling, blew out the candles on the boutique blankets display. The camera flashes lit up the room, capturing Sarah's perfect moment. I stayed in the corner, pouring more lemonade, my hands shaking. Lily kept looking at me, her eyes searching, but Sarah guided her to cut the blanket, not my quilt. Grandma, Lily called softly, but Sarah shushed her. Not now, sweetie. My chest ached, like something inside was breaking. I'd spent weeks on that quilt, ignoring the pain in my hands, hoping it would mean something. But it wasn't enough for Sarah's perfect world. After the song, the guests moved to the backyard, kids running to the bounce house, adults chatting over wine. I stayed inside, cleaning up paper plates, needing something to do. Michael found me in the kitchen, his face tired. Mom, I'm sorry about that, he said, running a hand through his hair. Sarah's just stressed. She wants everything perfect for Lily. I looked at him, my son, the boy I'd raised to be kind. It's not about perfection, Michael. It's about Lily. She wanted my quilt. He sighed. I know. I'll talk to her. We'll make sure Lily sees it. But his words felt empty, like he was trying to keep everyone happy. Before I could reply, Sarah's mother, Linda, walked in, her heels clicking on the tile. "Eleanor, you're still here?" she said, her smile thin. "I thought you'd be heading home." Her words stung, like I wasn't welcome. "I'm helping out," I said, keeping my voice steady. She raised an eyebrow. "Oh, you don't need to. We've got staff for that." Staff. Like I was meddling in their polished life. I nodded, grabbing my purse, ready to leave before the tears came. But then Lily ran in, her face painted like a butterfly. "Grandma, don't go. I didn't open your quilt yet." My heart lifted, but Sarah appeared behind her. "Lily, Grandma's busy. You can see it another time." Lily's lip trembled again. "No. I want it now." Sarah's patience snapped. "Lily, stop. We're doing things my way today." The room went quiet, even Linda looking uncomfortable. I knelt down, ignoring the pain in my knees. "It's okay, sweetheart. I'll show you the quilt soon, I promise." Lily hugged me, her small arms tight around my neck. "I love you, Grandma," she whispered. I hugged her back, tears burning my eyes. Sarah watched, her face unreadable, but I saw a flicker of something, guilt, maybe, or annoyance. As I drove home, the Seattle rain started, blurring my windshield. The 30-minute drive to my apartment near Green Lake felt endless. I kept seeing Lily's face, her confusion, her love for my quilt. My apartment was small, nothing like Michael and Sarah's house, but it was mine. After my husband, John, died from cancer 5 years ago, I'd sold our old home and moved here to be closer to Lily. I thought I'd be part of their lives, but today, I felt like an outsider. I sank into my armchair, the one John and I bought when we were young. Its fabric worn but comforting. My phone buzzed, a text from Michael. "Mom, Lily loved your quilt. She's asking when you'll come back. Sorry again." I stared at the words, wanting to believe them, but the hurt lingered. I was about to reply when my phone rang. It was Michael. "Mom, you okay?" he asked, his voice soft. "I got home fine," I said, keeping my tone neutral. "I just wanted to check," he said. "And there's something else. It's a bit awkward." My stomach tightened. "What is it?" He hesitated. "Sarah quit her job at the ad agency last year to stay home with Lily. It's been great for her, but money's tight. The house, the parties, everything adds up." I knew where this was going. "Michael, are you asking for money?" He sighed. "Not exactly. We're okay, but things are harder than we expected. Sarah thought maybe you could help out, since you've got John's savings and your pension." My heart sank. John had been a careful planner, a mechanic who saved every penny. My teacher's pension and his investments left me comfortable, but I never thought my son would ask for a handout. "What kind of help?" I asked. "Maybe you could add Sarah to one of your credit cards," he said. "Just for emergencies, for Lily's stuff." The request hit me hard. Sarah spending my money freely, after treating me like I didn't matter. "I'd need to think about it," I said, my voice tight. "Maybe a monthly transfer would be better, something clear." Michael pushed back. "A credit card would be easier, Mom, for quick things like school fees or activities." I wondered if this was Sarah's idea. "Let me sleep on it," I said. "We'll talk tomorrow." He paused. "Okay. And Mom, Sarah really does appreciate you." I didn't believe him. After we hung up, I sat in the dark, the quilt's rejection and Michael's request swirling in my mind. I looked at the photo on my shelf, Lily and me at the park, laughing. She was my world, but Sarah's words, her coldness, made me feel small. Then I noticed my bank statement on the table unopened. I'd given Sarah a credit card months ago, for small things like groceries when she watched Lily. Curious, I opened my laptop and checked the account. My heart stopped. Thousands of dollars in charges, designer clothes, spa visits, things I'd never approved. Sarah had been using my money like it was hers. Anger burned through me. I grabbed my phone, called the bank, and canceled the card right then, my hands shaking. The operator asked if I was sure. "Yes," I said, my voice firm. I wasn't going to let Sarah treat me like a doormat. But as I hung up, a new fear hit me. Would they keep Lily from me if I didn't give in? I pushed the thought away, but it lingered, like a shadow. The next morning, My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Eleanor, this is Richard Carter. We need to talk. Meet me at the Green Lake Cafe tomorrow at 8 a.m. It's about Michael and Sarah. My breath caught. Sarah's father, the man who barely spoke to me, wanted to meet. What did he know that I didn't? The rain hadn't stopped since the night before, drumming on my apartment windows as I sat up, unable to sleep. Richard's text glowed on my phone, simple but heavy. A meeting at the Green Lake Cafe at 8 a.m. Why would Sarah's father, a man who'd barely said 10 words to me in years, want to talk? My mind raced with possibilities. Did he know about the credit card? Was he going to lecture me about family loyalty? I clutched the photo of Lily and me, her smile so bright it hurt to look at. I'd canceled Sarah's card without telling anyone. A quiet act of defiance, but now fear crept in. What if they used Lily to punish me? Morning came too fast. I dressed in my best sweater, a soft blue one John always liked, and drove to the cafe. The Green Lake Cafe was cozy, with wooden tables and the smell of fresh coffee. Richard was already there, sitting by the window, his gray suit crisp against the rainy backdrop. He was 70, tall and stern, with a face that didn't smile easily. I slid into the booth across from him, my hands fidgeting. "Morning, Richard," I said, keeping my voice steady. He nodded, his eyes sharp. "Eleanor, thanks for coming. I'll get to the point. Michael and Sarah are in trouble, and I think you know more than you're letting on." My stomach dropped. "Trouble?" I asked, playing dumb. He leaned forward, his voice low. "Financial trouble. I've been watching their spending. New furniture, fancy parties, that ridiculous bounce house. They're drowning in debt. I checked their accounts through a friend at the bank. They're behind on the mortgage." I froze, my coffee untouched. Michael hadn't mentioned any of this. "Why are you telling me?" I asked. Richard's jaw tightened. "Because Sarah's been using your credit card to keep up appearances. I saw the charges, thousands on clothes, spa days. Linda noticed it too, but she won't confront Sarah. I figured you deserved to know." I swallowed hard, my anger from last night flaring again. "I canceled that card yesterday," I admitted, watching his face. His eyebrows lifted, a flicker of respect in his eyes. "Good move," he said. "But it's not enough. Sarah's been pushing Michael to ask you for more. Your savings, maybe even a loan. They're counting on you to bail them out." My heart pounded. My savings were all I had, built from John's hard work and my years of teaching. "They can't have it," I said, my voice shaking. "I won't let them take what John left me." Richard nodded slowly. "I thought you'd say that. But be careful, Eleanor. Sarah doesn't like being told no." The warning hung between us. I wanted to ask more, but my phone buzzed, Michael's name on the screen. "Excuse me," I said, stepping outside. The rain soaked my shoes as I answered. "Mom, what did you do?" Michael's voice was sharp, almost desperate. "Sarah just tried to use the credit card, and it's declined. She's furious." I took a deep breath, the cold air steadying me. "I canceled it, Michael. She spent thousands on things I didn't approve, designer dresses, spa trips. That card was for Lily, not Sarah's shopping." There was a long pause. "You should have talked to me first," he said. "Sarah's saying you don't trust us. She's upset, Mom." "Upset?" I snapped, my voice louder than I meant. "She called my quilt useless, Michael. She pushed me out of Lily's party. And now she's spending my money like it's hers. I'm not a bank." He sighed, heavy and tired. "I know she went overboard, but we're struggling. The house, Lily's school, it's a lot. I thought you'd help for Lily's sake." His words stung, using Lily like a bargaining chip. "I'd do anything for Lily," I said. "But not like this. You need to figure this out without my savings." He went quiet again, then said, "Sarah wants to talk tonight. Can you come over for dinner?" I hesitated, Richard's warning echoing in my mind. "I'll be there," I said, hanging up. Back inside, Richard was watching me. "That was Michael?" he asked. I nodded. "They want me over for dinner. Probably to talk about money." He frowned. "Be careful, Eleanor. Sarah's got a way of twisting things. If you need backup, call me." He slid a business card across the table, his personal number scribbled on it. I tucked it into my purse, unsure why he was helping me. "Why do you care?" I asked. He looked out the window, his voice softer. Linda and I lost our son years ago. Sarah's all we have left. I don't want her dragging Michael down with her mistakes. It was the first time he'd ever opened up, and I saw pain in his eyes, raw and real. I drove home, my mind spinning. Richard's words, Michael's call, Sarah's spending. It was too much. At my apartment, I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the quilt scraps I hadn't used. They reminded me of simpler times, when Michael was a boy, when John and I made a life on love, not money. My phone buzzed again. A photo from Lily, sent through Michael's phone. She was holding a daisy, smiling. "Miss you, Grandma," the caption read. Tears welled up. She was why I couldn't give in, why I had to stay strong. But dinner tonight felt like walking into a trap. When I arrived at their house, the air was thick with tension. Lily ran to me, hugging my legs. "Grandma, you came," she said, her voice bright. I knelt down, smiling. "Of course, sweetheart. I wouldn't miss seeing you." Sarah appeared in the doorway, her arms crossed. "Eleanor, we need to talk," she said, her tone icy. Michael stood behind her, looking uneasy. We sat at the dining table, Lily coloring in the next room. Sarah didn't waste time. "You canceled the card without telling us," she said, her eyes locked on mine. "That was low, Eleanor. We trusted you." I took a deep breath, my hands clasped tight. "You spent thousands, Sarah, on things that weren't for Lily. That card was for emergencies, not your spa days." Her face flushed. "You don't get it. I'm trying to give Lily a good life, the life Michael and I deserve. You're sitting on all that money, and you can't even help your own family?" Her voice rose, sharp and accusing. Michael cut in. "Sarah, calm down. Mom, we just need a little help. Things are tight." I shook my head. "I offered a monthly transfer, something fair. You wanted a credit card to control. I can't do that." Sarah leaned forward, her voice low. "If you don't help us, Eleanor, things could change. Lily's getting older. She doesn't need you as much anymore." The threat hit like a punch. My heart raced, picturing Lily growing up without me. "You'd keep her from me?" I asked, my voice breaking. Sarah didn't answer, just stared. Michael looked away, ashamed. The room felt suffocating. I stood, grabbing my coat. "I need air," I said, walking out. As I reached the door, Lily called. "Grandma, don't go." I turned, tears in my eyes. "I'll be back, sweetheart," I promised. Outside, the rain was heavier. I sat in my car, my hands shaking. Sarah's words echoed. Lily not needing me. It wasn't true, but it hurt. Then my phone buzzed. A voicemail from an unknown number. It was Linda, Sarah's mother. "Eleanor, it's Linda. I heard about the card. Sarah's out of line, but there's more you need to know. Call me tomorrow." I stared at the phone, my heart pounding. First Richard, now Linda. What else were they hiding? What did Sarah and Michael want that they weren't saying? The rain battered my car windows as I sat in Michael and Sarah's driveway. Linda's voicemail replaying in my head. Her voice had been soft, almost nervous, so different from her usual sharp tone. "There's more you need to know," she'd said. My hands gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white. First Richard with his warning, now Linda with secrets. What was going on with my son's family? I thought of Lily inside, coloring at the table, her innocent voice calling me back. Leaving her felt like abandoning a piece of myself. But Sarah's words, Lily not needing me, cut deeper than I could bear. I drove home, the Seattle streets a blur of lights and rain, my heart heavy with questions. Back at my apartment, I sank into my armchair, the one John and I picked out at a thrift store when Michael was born. Its faded green fabric still smelled faintly of his aftershave, a comfort I clung to on nights like this. I pulled out the photo of Lily and me at the park, her tiny hand in mine as we fed ducks by Green Lake. That day, she'd laughed so hard she fell into the grass, and I'd scooped her up, both of us giggling. Those moments were my anchor, proof I still mattered. But Sarah's threat made me wonder if I was losing her. I closed my eyes, remembering John's voice, steady and warm. "Ellie, you're stronger than you know," he'd say when life got hard. I needed that strength now. My phone sat on the table, Linda's number glowing. I wanted to call, but it was late, and my nerves were raw. Instead, I made tea, the old kettle whistling like it did when Michael was a boy. doing homework at this same table. Back then, life was simpler. John fixing cars in the garage, me grading papers, Michael building model planes. Now my son felt like a stranger, caught in Sarah's world of appearances. The credit card charges, $4,000 in 1 month, flashed in my mind. Dresses, salon visits, things I'd never dream of buying. I'd trusted Sarah, thinking she'd use it for Lily, but she'd use me instead. Canceling it felt right, but the fallout scared me. The next morning, I called Linda before my courage faded. She answered on the first ring. "Eleanor, I'm glad you called," she said, her voice quieter than usual. "Can we meet?" "Not at my house, somewhere private." "The park by Green Lake, near the benches at noon." I hesitated. Linda had always been distant, her wealth and confidence making me feel small. "Why not over the phone?" I asked. She paused. "It's sensitive. I don't trust Sarah not to overhear." My heart skipped. "Okay," I said. Noon. After hanging up, I felt a mix of dread and hope. Linda knew something, maybe something Richard hadn't shared. At the park, the rain had stopped, leaving puddles that reflected the gray sky. I sat on a bench, my coat pulled tight, watching ducks glide across the lake. Lily loved those ducks. I pictured her here, tossing breadcrumbs, her laughter filling the air. The memory warmed me, but it also hurt, knowing Sarah could keep her away. Linda arrived, her silver hair neat under a scarf, her face softer than I'd ever seen. "Eleanor," she said, sitting beside me, "I owe you an apology. I've been hard on you, judging your life, your choices. But Sarah's gone too far." I stared at her, surprised. "What do you mean?" I asked. Linda sighed, looking at the lake. "Sarah's always been ambitious. She wants the best for Lily, but it's more than that. She's obsessed with looking perfect. Perfect house, perfect parties. She's been using your money to hide how bad things are." I nodded, my anger rising. "I saw the charges. Thousands, Linda. On things for her, not Lily." Linda's eyes met mine, filled with guilt. "I know. Richard told me. But it's worse. They're not just behind on the mortgage. Michael lost a big client at work. They're hiding it from everyone, even us." My breath caught. Michael hadn't said a word. Why didn't he tell me? I asked, my voice breaking. Linda reached out, touching my arm. First. "He's ashamed, Eleanor. He thinks he's failing you, failing Lily. Sarah pushes him to keep up the act, and you're caught in the middle." I shook my head, tears stinging. "She threatened to keep Lily from me. Last night at dinner, she said Lily doesn't need me anymore." Linda's face hardened. "That's cruel. Lily adores you. That quilt you made? She sleeps with it every night, even if Sarah doesn't admit it." My heart lifted, then sank. "Then why push me away?" I asked. Linda looked down. "Sarah's scared. She thinks if she loses control, everything falls apart. She's wrong, but she won't listen to me or Richard. That's why I called. You need to stand your ground, Eleanor. Don't let her bully you." I wiped my eyes, John's words echoing again. "Stronger than you know." "I canceled the card," I said. "But I'm scared they'll use Lily against me." Linda nodded. "They might try. But you're not alone. Richard and I will back you up. We want what's best for Lily too." Before I could reply, my phone rang. Michael. "Mom, Sarah's furious," he said, his voice tight. "She found out you met Richard. She thinks you're plotting against us." I froze, glancing at Linda. "How did Sarah know?" "I'm not plotting," I said. "I'm protecting myself. You didn't tell me about the mortgage, Michael. Or your job." He went quiet. "Who told you that?" he asked. I didn't answer, my trust in him shaky. "We need to talk, Mom. Tonight at the house. Please." I agreed, my stomach nodding. As Linda and I parted, she hugged me, quick but real. "You're stronger than Sarah thinks," she said. "Don't give in." I drove home, my mind a mess. Michael's secrecy, Sarah's threats, Linda's support. It was too much. At my apartment, I found a note slipped under the door, no name, just a scrawled message. "Stop meddling, Eleanor, or you'll regret it." My heart stopped. Was it Sarah? Someone else? I locked the door, my hands trembling, and called Richard. "I got a note," I said, my voice shaking. "It's a threat." He was quiet, then said, "Stay put. I'm coming over." As I waited, I held Lily's photo, praying I could keep her in my life. But the note, the secrets, the lies, what was coming next? The note lay on my kitchen table, its jagged handwriting staring back at me. "Stop meddling, Eleanor, or you'll regret it." My heart pounded as I waited for Richard, the apartment's silence broken only by the hum of the fridge. I clutched Lily's photo, her smile a lifeline in the storm of fear and doubt. Had Sarah written it? Michael? Someone else? I thought of John, how he'd sit with me through tough nights, his hand steady on mine. "Ellie, face it head on," he'd say. But facing this meant risking Lily, and that thought tore me apart. The doorbell rang, sharp and loud, making me jump. I checked the peephole. Richard, his face grim under the porch light. I let him in, holding the note out. "This was under my door," I said, my voice shaky. He read it, his jaw tightening. "This isn't Sarah's writing," he said, turning the paper over. "But it's someone who knows what's going on." He sat at my table, looking out of place in his tailored coat. "Eleanor, there's more to this. Sarah's been borrowing money, not just from you. She's got loans from friends, even my business contacts. Michael doesn't know the half of it." My stomach twisted. "Loans?" I asked. "How bad is it?" Richard's eyes met mine. "Bad enough that they could lose the house. She's hiding it from him, spinning stories about investments." I sank into a chair, my mind reeling. Sarah, with her perfect parties and designer clothes, was sinking them in debt. "Why didn't you tell me this before?" I asked. Richard sighed. "I wanted to be sure. I had my friend at the bank dig deeper after our talk. Sarah's been using your card to pay off interest on those loans, keeping Michael in the dark." My anger flared, hot and sharp. "She used me to lie to my own son," I said. Richard nodded. "And this note? Could be one of her lenders, someone who doesn't want you stirring things up." A chill ran through me. "What do I do?" I asked. "Confront her," he said. "Tonight at their house. I'll come with you. You can't let this slide." I hesitated, picturing Lily's face. What if they keep her from me? My voice broke, tears threatening. Richard's face softened, a rare sight. "Lily's your strength, Eleanor. Sarah knows that. She's counting on you backing down to keep the peace. Don't." His words hit hard, echoing John's old advice. I nodded, wiping my eyes. "Okay, let's go." But as we grabbed our coats, my phone buzzed. A video call from Lily. Her face filled the screen, her eyes red from crying. "Grandma, why aren't you here?" she asked, her voice small. "Mommy says you're mad at us." My heart shattered. "Sweetheart, I'm not mad at you," I said, forcing a smile. "I'm coming over soon, okay? I love you." Sarah's voice cut in from off-screen. "Lily, enough. Say goodbye." The call ended abruptly, leaving me staring at a blank screen. "She's using Lily to hurt me," I whispered. Richard put a hand on my shoulder. "We'll fix this, Eleanor. Let's go." The drive to their house felt endless, the rain heavier, the note's words looping in my mind. Who was threatening me? And why was Sarah manipulating Lily like this? At their house, Michael opened the door, his face pale. "Mom, Richard? What's going on?" he asked, glancing between us. Sarah stood in the living room, arms crossed, her eyes cold. Lily was on the couch, clutching my quilt, her face streaked with tears. "Grandma," she cried, running to me. I hugged her tight, her warmth grounding me. "I'm here, sweetheart," I said, kissing her head. Sarah stepped forward. "Eleanor, you're upsetting her. First the card, now showing up with my father? What are you trying to prove?" Her voice was sharp, like I was the villain. I stood tall, Richard beside me. "Sarah, you've been using my money to pay off loans you didn't tell Michael about," I said, my voice steady despite the fear. Michael's eyes widened. "What loans?" he asked, turning to Sarah. Her face froze, then she laughed, sharp and forced. "That's ridiculous. Eleanor, you're out of line. My father shouldn't be feeding you lies." Richard cut in, his voice firm. "It's not a lie, Sarah. I checked. You've borrowed from half the city, and you're dragging Michael down with you." Michael stared at her, hurt and confusion in his eyes. "Is this true?" he asked. Sarah's mask cracked, her voice rising. You're all ganging up on me. I'm doing this for Lily, for our family. Eleanor, you're too old to understand what it takes to keep up. Her words stung, but Lily's hand in mine kept me strong. You called me useless, Sarah. I said, my voice low. At Lily's party you pushed my quilt aside, pushed me aside. And now you're lying to Michael, using my money to hide it. Michael shook his head, stepping back. Sarah, why didn't you tell me? He asked, his voice breaking. Before she could answer, the doorbell rang. Michael opened it, revealing a man I didn't know, middle-aged in a cheap suit, his face hard. Sarah, we need to talk, he said, ignoring the rest of us. You missed another payment. Sarah's face went white. Not now, Greg, she hissed. Richard whispered to me. He's one of her lenders. This is bad. My heart raced. The note, the loans, Sarah's lies, it was all crashing down. Lily clung to me, scared. Grandma, who's that man? She asked. I held her close, my resolve hardening. Don't worry, sweetheart, I said, but inside, I was terrified. Michael turned to Sarah, his voice shaking. You've been lying to me this whole time? Sarah's eyes darted to Greg, then to me. Eleanor started this, she snapped. She canceled the card. Turned my parents against me. I shook my head. No, Sarah. You did this. And I won't let you use Lily to control me. Greg stepped forward, impatient. I don't care about your family drama. I want my money, Sarah, or things get messy. The room went silent, the threat hanging heavy. I looked at Lily, her eyes wide, and knew I had to protect her, no matter what. But as Greg glared at Sarah, my phone buzzed again. A text from Linda. Eleanor, check your bank account. Now. My hands shook as I opened the app. What had Sarah done this time? My hands trembled as I opened the bank app. Linda's text burning in my mind. Check your bank account. Now. The living room was chaos. Greg, the lender, glaring at Sarah, Michael staring at her like she was a stranger, and Lily clinging to my side, her small hand gripping mine. I wanted to scoop her up and run, away from the lies and threats, but I needed answers. The app loaded, and my heart stopped. A withdrawal, $10,000, taken from my savings account yesterday, after I'd canceled the credit card. The note on the transaction read, Family Emergency. I looked at Sarah, her face pale as she argued with Greg. Had she done this? Sarah, I said, my voice low but firm, holding up my phone. What's this? $10,000 gone from my account. You know anything about it? The room went quiet, even Greg turning to look. Sarah's eyes widened, but she recovered fast, her voice sharp. I don't know what you're talking about, Eleanor. Don't accuse me in my own house. Michael stepped closer, his voice shaking. Mom, what's going on? I showed him the screen, my chest tight. Someone took 10 grand from my savings. It says family emergency. I didn't authorize it. Michael's face fell, and he turned to Sarah. Did you do this? He asked, almost pleading. Sarah crossed her arms, her jaw tight. You're all turning on me. I didn't touch your money, Eleanor. Maybe you made a mistake. You're not exactly tech-savvy. Her words stung, but Lily's hand in mine kept me steady. Don't lie, Sarah, I said. You used my card for months. Now this. Greg interrupted, his voice cold. I don't care who took what. Sarah, you owe me 15 grand by next week, or I'm going to the cops. Lily whimpered, pressing closer. Grandma, why's everyone yelling? She asked. I knelt down, forcing a smile. It's grown-up stuff, sweetheart. You're okay. But I wasn't. My savings, John's savings, were slipping away. Richard, who'd been quiet, spoke up. Sarah, tell the truth. Did you access Eleanor's account? Sarah's eyes darted to him, betrayed. Dad, you're supposed to be on my side, she snapped. Richard shook his head. I'm on Lily's side. And Eleanor's. You're digging a hole, and it's time to stop. Michael grabbed Sarah's arm, his voice breaking. Tell me you didn't do this. Please. Sarah pulled away, tears in her eyes. I didn't. I swear. Maybe it was a bank error. But her voice cracked, and I saw the lie in her eyes. I trusted her once, but not now. I stood, holding Lily's hand. I'm calling the bank, I said, stepping toward the kitchen for quiet. Michael followed, his face crumpled. Mom, I didn't know about any of this, he said. I thought we were okay, just tight. Sarah said she had it under control. I looked at my son, the boy I'd raised to be honest. Michael, you let her push me out. At Lily's party, with the quilt, you didn't stand up for me. He looked down ashamed. I know. I was trying to keep things calm. I thought it was just stress. I shook my head, tears burning. It's more than stress. She's lying to you, to all of us. In the kitchen, I dialed the bank, my heart racing. The operator confirmed the withdrawal, but it was worse than I thought. Ma'am, the transaction was made online, using your login. Someone had your password. My blood ran cold. Sarah had access to my laptop months ago, when she helped me set up online banking. I hung up, my hands shaking. Back in the living room, Greg was gone, but the tension remained. Sarah sat on the couch, crying, while Richard talked to her in a low voice. Michael looked at me desperate. Mom, what did the bank say? I took a deep breath. Someone used my login. Sarah, you set up my account. Did you keep the password? Sarah's head snapped up, her tears stopping. You're accusing me again? I'm trying to hold this family together, and you're making it worse. But her voice was too shrill, her eyes too wide. Lily tugged my hand. Grandma, don't fight, she whispered. I hugged her, my heart breaking. I'm trying to fix this, sweetheart, I said. Richard stood. Eleanor, let's go to the bank tomorrow. We'll sort this out. Sarah glared at him. You're choosing her over me? Richard's voice was steady. I'm choosing right over wrong. As we left, Michael followed me to the door. Mom, I'm sorry, he said, his voice barely audible. I didn't see how bad it was. I'll fix this. I wanted to believe him, but the hurt was deep. Protect Lily, I said. That's what matters. He nodded, tears in his eyes. In the car, Richard was quiet, then said, There's something else. Linda found emails on Sarah's computer. Loan agreements, forged signatures. She's scared to confront her, but we'll show you tomorrow. My heart sank. Forged signatures? Was Sarah that desperate? Back home, I couldn't sleep. I sat by the window, the Seattle rain a steady rhythm. I thought of my life with John, how we'd built a home on love, not lies. I remembered teaching Michael to ride a bike, his laughter as he wobbled down our old street. Now he was caught in Sarah's mess, and I was fighting to stay in Lily's life. My phone buzzed, a photo from Lily, sent through Michael's phone. She was tucked in bed, holding my quilt, her eyes sleepy but happy. Love you, Grandma, the caption read. Tears fell as I held the phone, my resolve hardening. I'd fight for her, no matter what. Then my doorbell rang, late and unexpected. I checked the peephole, nobody. My heart raced as I opened the door, finding another note taped to the frame. You're making enemies, Eleanor. Back off. My hands shook as I locked the door, fear creeping in. Was this Greg? Sarah? Or someone new? I called Richard, my voice trembling. Another note, I said. It's getting worse. He was calm but firm. Stay safe, Eleanor. I'm calling a friend at the police station. Meet me at the bank at 9 a.m. As I hung up, I held Lily's photo, my heart pounding. The secrets were unraveling, but the danger was growing. What had Sarah dragged us into? The second note sat on my kitchen counter, its words chilling. You're making enemies, Eleanor. Back off. I barely slept, the Seattle rain tapping my windows like a warning. I held Lily's photo, her sleepy smile under my quilt grounding me in the chaos. My mind drifted to John, to the nights we'd sit on our porch, planning a future for Michael. We dreamed he'd grow up strong, honest, not caught in lies like this. Now Sarah's secrets, $10,000 stolen, loans, forged signatures, threatened to pull Lily away. I needed to be strong, like John always said, but fear clung to me. Who was sending these notes? What did they want? Morning came, gray and heavy. I drove to the bank, meeting Richard in the parking lot. His face was tense, his suit rumpled like he'd been up all night. You okay? He asked, glancing at the note I'd brought. I nodded, though my hands shook. I'm scared, Richard. These notes, the money, it's too much. He put a hand on my arm, steady like John used to be. We'll figure this out, Eleanor. My friend at the police is looking into the notes. Let's deal with the bank first. Inside, the manager, a kind woman named Susan, pulled up my account. The $10,000 withdrawal was made online, she said. The IP address traces to an address in Queen and your son's house. My heart sank. Sarah. She had my password, I said, my voice shaking. She set up my online banking. Susan frowned. We can freeze the account and file a fraud report, but you'll need proof it wasn't you. Richard spoke up. I have emails, loan agreements with Sarah's name, some with forged signatures. Will that help? Susan nodded. It's a start. I'll flag the account and start an investigation. As we left, I felt a mix of relief and dread. Sarah had crossed a line, but proving it could tear the family apart. Lily's face flashed in my mind. Would this cost me her? Richard drove us to a coffee shop nearby, a quiet place with mismatched chairs. Linda sent me the emails, he said, showing me his phone. There were dozens, agreements with lenders, one with my name forged on a loan for $20,000. She signed my name? I whispered, my voice breaking. Richard nodded. She's desperate, Eleanor. She thought your savings would cover her debts. I stared at the screen, my anger mixing with hurt. John and I had saved that money for emergencies, for Lily's future, not for Sarah's lies. I trusted her, I said. I thought she cared about Lily. Richard's eyes softened. She does in her way, but she's lost in her own mess. My phone buzzed. Michael. Mom, where are you? He asked, his voice frantic. Sarah's freaking out. She says you're trying to ruin us. I took a deep breath. Michael, she took $10,000 from my account. Forged my name on loans. I'm at the bank with Richard, sorting it out. He went quiet, then whispered, she did what? I heard the pain in his voice. The same pain I felt when I realized my son was slipping away. Come to the coffee shop on 5th, I said. We need to talk, just us. He agreed, but his voice was shaky, like he was scared of the truth. At the coffee shop, Michael arrived, his eyes red. He slid into the booth, barely looking at Richard. Mom, is it true? He asked. The money, the loans? I nodded, showing him the bank statement. She used my account, Michael. And there's more, forged signatures. He buried his face in his hands. I didn't know, he said. She said we were fine, that the card was just for extras. I trusted her. I reached across, touching his hand. I trusted her too. But we can't let this hurt Lily. He looked up, tears in his eyes. I'm losing everything, Mom. My job's shaky, the house. We're falling apart. I wanted to hug him, like when he was a boy with a scraped knee, but this was bigger. You're not alone, I said. But you need to face this with me. Richard cleared his throat. Michael, I've got a lawyer friend who can help. We can stop the lenders, protect Eleanor's savings. But you need to confront Sarah. Michael nodded, but his face was pale. She's at home with Lily, he said. I don't know how to do this. I squeezed his hand. For Lily, I said, my voice firm. He nodded, a spark of resolve in his eyes. As we left, my phone rang. Linda. Eleanor, I found something else, she said, her voice urgent. A letter in Sarah's desk, from a lender named Greg. He's not just a creditor. He's got ties to some rough people. Be careful. My heart raced. Greg, the man at their house, wasn't just a lender? I told Richard, who frowned. That explains the notes, he said. We need to get to your place, Eleanor. Make sure it's safe. We drove to my apartment, Michael following. Inside, everything looked normal, but the air felt wrong. I checked my desk, and froze. Another note, tucked in my address book. Last warning. Stay out of Sarah's business. My knees buckled, but Michael caught me. Mom, what's this? He asked, reading the note. His face hardened. This stops now, he said. I'm calling Sarah. He dialed, putting her on speaker. Sarah, what's going on with Greg? He demanded. Her voice was sharp. Why are you with your mom? She's causing trouble. Michael cut her off. No, you are. Forged loans, stolen money, threats. What's Greg got on you? Sarah went quiet, then sobbed. I didn't mean for this, Michael. Greg promised he'd help, but he's pressuring me now. I spoke up, my voice shaking but strong. Sarah, you dragged Lily into this. I won't let you hurt her. She cried harder. I'm trying to protect her. Michael hung up, his face grim. Mom, I'm going home. I'm getting answers. Richard nodded. I'm calling my police friend. Eleanor, stay here tonight. It's not safe. But as they left, my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Meet me at Green Lake midnight. Come alone or Lily pays. My heart stopped. I showed Richard, who cursed. It's a trap, he said. But we'll handle it together. I nodded, clutching Lily's photo. Fear and love battling inside me. What was Sarah hiding, and who was pulling the strings? The text glared from my phone. Meet me at Green Lake midnight. Come alone or Lily pays. My heart raced, each word a knife twisting in my chest. I stood in my apartment, Richard beside me, his face hard as he read it. The note from earlier, last warning, sat on the table, proof this wasn't a bluff. Lily's photo rested next to it. Her smile so innocent it hurt. I thought of her asleep, clutching my quilt, unaware of the mess Sarah had pulled her into. John's voice echoed in my mind. Ellie, you're tougher than anyone. I needed that toughness now, but fear for Lily made my hands shake. Richard grabbed his phone. I'm calling my police friend Tom, he said. This is too dangerous, Eleanor. You're not going alone. I nodded, but my mind was on Lily, her laugh, her tiny hand in mine at the park. What if they hurt her? I whispered, my voice breaking. Richard's eyes softened. They won't. We'll set a trap, catch whoever's behind this. His confidence steadied me, but the clock ticked closer to midnight, each second heavier than the last. I pictured Green Lake at night, dark and quiet, a place I'd walked with Lily in daylight. Now it felt like a threat. Michael called, his voice tight. Mom, I confronted Sarah. She admitted to the loans, the $10,000, everything. But she swears she didn't send those notes. I gripped the phone, anger mixing with doubt. What about Greg? I asked. She says he's pressuring her, Michael said. He lent her money, but now he wants double back. She's scared, Mom. I don't know what to believe. I glanced at Richard, who was talking to Tom, his voice low. Michael, someone wants me at Green Lake tonight. They threatened Lily. He gasped. What? Mom, don't go. I'm coming over. I hesitated. Stay with Lily, I said. Keep her safe. He agreed, but his voice shook, like he was breaking inside. Richard hung up, his face grim. Tom's sending an unmarked car to the lake. We'll go, but you stay hidden, Eleanor. They'll watch from a distance. I nodded, my stomach in knots. What if it's Greg? I asked. Richard frowned. Or someone he works with. Those emails Linda found. Greg's tied to some shady people. Sarah got in too deep. I thought of Sarah, her perfect smile hiding so many lies. She'd called me useless, stolen my money, but now she was trapped too. Part of me pitied her, but Lily was my focus. I wouldn't let her pay for Sarah's mistakes. We drove to Green Lake, the rain light but steady. Richard parked near the park's edge, where trees hid us from view. The lake was a dark mirror, reflecting streetlights. My heart pounded as we waited, the dashboard clock glowing 11:45 p.m. Richard handed me a flashlight. Stay in the car unless I say, he said. I nodded, clutching Lily's photo in my pocket. Memories flooded me. Pushing Michael on the swings here, teaching Lily to skip stones. This park held my happiest moments, and now it was a trap. I whispered a prayer, asking John to watch over us. At midnight, a figure appeared near the benches, hooded and tall. My breath caught. Richard signaled to Tom's team, hidden nearby, then stepped out. Stay low, he whispered. I watched, my heart in my throat, as he approached the figure. You the one threatening Eleanor? Richard called, his voice firm. The figure turned, but before they spoke, headlights flashed, another car speeding into the lot. Michael jumped out, shouting, Mom, don't do this. The hooded figure bolted, vanishing into the trees. Richard cursed, running back. Michael, you scared them off, he snapped. Michael reached my window, his face pale. I couldn't stay home, he said. Lily's with Sarah, but I had to stop you. I grabbed his hand, torn between anger and relief. You put us at risk, I said, my voice shaking. But I'm glad you're here. Richard's phone buzzed. Tom. We got a plate number from the runner's car, he said. It's registered to Greg's brother, Mark. He's got a record. My heart sank. Greg wasn't alone. They're after Sarah's debt, Richard said. And they think you're in the way, Eleanor. We drove back to my apartment, Michael following. Inside I made coffee, needing something to do. Michael sat at the table, head in his hands. Mom, I'm so sorry, he said. I let Sarah pull me into this. I didn't see it. I sat beside him, my heart heavy. You're my son, I said. But you need to stand up for Lily. He nodded, tears falling. I will. I promise. Richard spoke up. Tom's tracking Mark. We'll get him, but Sarah needs to come clean. I agreed, but fear lingered. What if they came for Lily next? My phone buzzed, a video from Sarah. Lily was asleep, my quilt tucked around her. Sarah's voice was soft, broken. Eleanor, I'm sorry. I messed up. Please don't hate me. I stared at the screen, torn. Her apology felt real, but her lies had gone too far. She's scared, Michael said, watching the video. But I don't know if I can trust her. I touched his shoulder. We'll figure it out together. Richard's phone rang. Linda. Eleanor, I found another email, she said, her voice urgent. Sarah was planning to sell your apartment. She forged your signature on a listing. My breath stopped. My home, the place I'd built after John died, where I kept Lily's drawings and John's old tools. Was Sarah trying to take that too? How could she? I whispered, tears falling. Michael hugged me, his voice fierce. She won't get away with this, Mom. Richard nodded. We'll stop her legally. But we need to act fast. As we planned, my phone buzzed again, an unknown number. You didn't show. Big mistake. Check on Lily. My heart froze. I called Sarah, no answer. Michael dialed, panic in his eyes. She's not picking up, he said. We raced to their house, fear driving us. Was Lily safe, or had Sarah's lies put her in danger? The car sped through Seattle's rain-slicked streets, my heart pounding as Michael gripped the wheel. The text, check on Lily, burned in my mind, each word a fresh stab of fear. Richard sat in the back, on the phone with his police friend Tom, his voice urgent. Get someone to the house now, he said. I clutched Lily's photo, its edges worn from my touch, and prayed she was safe. My mind flashed to her at the park, tossing bread to ducks, her laugh so bright it warmed the grayest days. Sarah's lies, stolen money, forged signatures, fake listings, had brought danger to my granddaughter's door. I thought of John, his steady voice. Ellie, protect what matters. Lily was all that mattered now. Michael's phone rang, Sarah's name on the screen. He hit speaker, his voice sharp. Sarah, is Lily okay? Her voice came through, panicked. She's fine, but someone was outside. I saw a car parked across the street, just sitting there. I'm scared, Michael. My stomach twisted. Was it Mark, Greg's brother? Or someone worse? We're almost there, Michael said. Lock the doors, stay with Lily. Sarah sobbed. I didn't mean for this, I swear. Eleanor, are you there? I'm sorry. I didn't answer, my trust in her gone. Her apology couldn't undo the notes, the threats, the lies about my apartment. We pulled into their driveway, the house dark except for a glow in the living room. Michael ran to the door, me and Richard behind. Sarah opened it, her face streaked with tears, Lily in her side. Grandma, Lily cried, running to me. I hugged her tight, her warmth easing my fear. You're safe now, sweetheart, I said, my voice breaking. The living room was a mess, papers scattered, a wine glass spilled on the rug. Sarah looked frantic. I was looking for proof to give the police, she said. Loan papers, emails, anything to show I was trying to fix it. Michael stared at her, his eyes cold. Fix it? You forged Mom's name, Sarah. You put Lily in danger. Before she could respond, headlights flashed outside. A car pulling up. Richard tensed, stepping to the window. It's not Tom, he said, his voice low. The doorbell rang, sharp and loud. Michael opened it, revealing a woman I didn't know, 40s, dark hair, nervous eyes. I'm Karen, she said. Sarah's friend from the ad agency. I need to talk now. Sarah's face went white. Karen, what are you doing here? She hissed. Karen ignored her, looking at me. Eleanor, I lent Sarah money last year. She said it was for Lily's school, but it wasn't. She's been lying to everyone. My heart sank. Another twist, another betrayal. How much? I asked. Karen swallowed. 20,000. I thought she'd pay it back, but then I saw Greg sniffing around. He's not just a lender. He's got people watching her, watching you. I glanced at Richard, who nodded, his face grim. That explains the notes, he said. Sarah sank onto the couch, crying. I didn't know Greg was like that, she said. He promised to help, but now he's threatening me, saying I owe double. Michael shook his head, his voice breaking. You did this behind my back, Sarah. How could you? Lily clung to me, scared. Grandma, why's Mommy crying? She asked. I stroked her hair, my heart aching. It's okay, sweetheart. We're fixing things. But I wasn't sure we could. Karen spoke again, her voice shaking. There's more. Sarah gave Greg your bank details, Eleanor. Not just the card, your savings account. He's the one who took the $10,000. My blood ran cold. Sarah gasped. I didn't. I gave him the card, but not her savings. Karen shook her head. I saw the email, Sarah. You sent him her login. Sarah's sobs grew louder, but I felt numb. My savings, John's savings, stolen by a man Sarah had trusted with my life. Michael grabbed her shoulders. Is this true? He demanded. Sarah nodded, barely audible. I thought he'd leave us alone if I gave him something. I didn't know he'd take that much. I stepped forward, my voice steady despite the rage inside. You gave a criminal my money, Sarah. You put Lily in danger. I'm done protecting you. Richard's phone buzzed. Tom. We caught Mark, he said. He's talking. Greg's got a partner, someone close to Sarah, feeding him info. We're closing in. My heart stopped. A partner? I looked at Sarah, then Karen, then Michael. Who was it? Before I could ask, the lights flickered, then went out. Lily screamed, gripping my hand. Grandma, I'm scared, she cried. Richard pulled out his flashlight. Stay calm, he said, but his voice was tense. A crash came from the back door, glass shattering. Michael ran toward it, shouting, Who's there? I pulled Lily behind the couch, my heart pounding. Footsteps echoed in the kitchen, heavy and deliberate. Richard whispered, Tom's team is outside. Hold on. But the footsteps stopped, and a voice called out, low, unfamiliar. Sarah, you can't hide. Where's the money? Lily whimpered, and I covered her mouth gently, praying he didn't hear. Michael shouted back, Get out of my house. A laugh, cold and sharp. Not till I get what's mine. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a text from Linda. Eleanor, it's Karen. She's working with Greg. Get out now. My breath caught. Karen, standing just feet away, was the partner? I looked at her, her face unreadable in the dark. She met my eyes and I saw it, guilt, fear, something else. Karen, I said, my voice low. What did you do? She bolted for the front door, but Richard grabbed her arm. You're not going anywhere, he said. The stranger in the kitchen laughed again. Smart move, old man. But it's too late. Lily trembled against me, and I held her tight, my mind racing. Sarah's lies, Karen's betrayal, Greg's partner in their house. Every twist tightened the knot in my chest. I whispered to Lily, You're safe with me, sweetheart. But as the stranger's footsteps started again, closer now, I wasn't sure. Michael's voice cracked from the kitchen. Mom, take Lily and run. I froze, torn between saving her and leaving my son. Richard nodded at me, his eyes fierce. Go, Eleanor. I've got this. But before I could move, my phone buzzed again, an unknown number. Look outside. I glanced at the window, my heart stopping. A car idled across the street, its headlights off. Was it Greg? Or someone worse? The car's dark shape loomed across the street, its engine a low hum in the rain-soaked night. Inside, the house was chaos. Lily trembling behind the couch, my arms around her, Michael shouting at the stranger in the kitchen, and Richard holding Karen, who'd betrayed us all. My heart pounded, fear for Lily mixing with a fire I hadn't felt in years. Sarah's lies, stolen money, forged signatures, dangerous lenders, had brought us here, but I wasn't the useless woman she'd called me. John's voice echoed in my heart. Ellie, you're stronger than anyone. I held Lily close, her small breaths against my chest, and knew I'd fight for her, no matter what. The stranger's voice cut through the dark. "Sarah, last chance. Where's my money?" Michael yelled back. "Get out, or I'm calling the cops." But the footsteps moved closer, heavy on the tile. I whispered to Lily, "Stay quiet, sweetheart. Grandma's got you." Her eyes, wide with fear, trusted me completely, and that trust gave me strength. Richard's phone buzzed. "Tom, the police officer." "We're outside," he whispered. "Got eyes on the car." "It's Greg. Stay put." Relief washed over me, but it was short-lived. Karen twisted in Richard's grip, her voice desperate. "Let me go. Greg made me do it." Richard's voice was cold. "You sold out Eleanor. You're done." Before I could process Karen's betrayal, the back door burst open, and flashlight beams sliced through the dark. "Police. Hands up." Tom's voice boomed. The stranger swore, his footsteps scrambling, then a crash, glass breaking. Lily screamed, and I shielded her, my heart racing. Michael ran back, his face pale. "Mom, you okay?" I nodded, holding Lily tighter. "We're fine," I said, my voice steady despite the fear. Tom and his team stormed the kitchen, shouting orders. Moments later, they dragged the stranger out. A burly man I didn't know, his face hard but scared. Outside, sirens wailed as Greg's car sped off, but Tom yelled, "We've got a unit on him." Sarah sank to the floor, sobbing. "I didn't want this," she cried. "I just wanted a good life for Lily." Michael knelt beside her, his voice breaking. "You almost cost us everything, Sarah. Mom, Lily, our family." I looked at her, my anger softened by pity. She'd called me useless, stolen my money, put us in danger, but now she was broken, her perfect mask gone. Lily stirred in my arms. "Grandma, is Mommy okay?" she asked, her voice small. I kissed her forehead. "She'll be okay, sweetheart. We all will." But I wasn't sure yet. The house felt like a battlefield, strewn with lies and fear. Tom approached, his face grim. "We got the guy, Mark's partner, hired by Greg. Karen's talking, says she fed Greg your bank info, Eleanor, for a cut of the money." I nodded, my chest tight. My savings, John's savings, had been targeted by someone Sarah trusted. "What about Greg?" I asked. Tom sighed. "He's in custody. We caught him 2 blocks away. He's facing fraud, extortion, you name it." Richard clapped Tom's shoulder. "Thanks, man. What about Eleanor's money?" Tom shook his head. "We'll try, but most of it's gone, spent or wired offshore." My heart sank, but I looked at Lily, safe in my arms, and knew money wasn't what mattered most. Michael turned to me, tears in his eyes. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I let this happen. I didn't see Sarah's lies." I touched his face, like I did when he was a boy. "You're my son," I said. "We fixed this together." He hugged me, Lily between us, and for a moment, it was just us, my family battered but whole. Sarah stood, her voice shaky. "Eleanor, I don't expect forgiveness, but I'm sorry. I was wrong about you, about everything." I met her eyes, seeing pain, not pride. "You hurt me, Sarah," I said. "But for Lily we move forward. No more lies." She nodded, tears falling. And I felt a weight lift, not trust but hope. Richard and Linda, who'd arrived during the chaos, stepped closer. Linda's face was soft, her usual sharpness gone. "Eleanor, you're stronger than I ever gave you credit for," she said. "We'll help you rebuild. Whatever it takes." Richard nodded. "My lawyer's ready to fight for your savings, and we'll cover your apartment, it's safe." My throat tightened. Their support, after years of distance, felt like a gift. "Thank you," I said, my voice breaking. Lily yawned, her head on my shoulder. "Grandma, can we go to your house?" she asked. I smiled, tears falling. "Soon, sweetheart. We'll make new memories there." Days later, I sat in my apartment, sunlight streaming through the window. The notes were gone, the threats over, but the scars remained. Michael and Sarah moved to a smaller place, selling their fancy house to pay debts. Sarah started therapy, facing her mistakes, while Michael found a new client, rebuilding his career. I visited Lily often, her laughter filling my home as we sewed quilt patches together. My savings were mostly gone, but Richard's lawyer recovered a small part, enough to keep me steady. I framed Lily's daisy drawing, hanging it by John's old chair. A reminder of what I'd fought for. One evening, Michael stopped by alone. "Mom, I found this in storage," he said, holding a photo. John and me, young and laughing, Michael a toddler in my arms. "You've always been strong," he said. "I forgot that, but I won't again." I hugged him, tears in my eyes. "We're family," I said. "That's enough." As he left, I sat by the window, the Seattle rain soft now, not heavy. I thought of Sarah's word, useless, and how I'd proved it wrong. I wasn't just a grandmother. I was Eleanor, strong, loved, unbreakable. The moral of my story is simple. Love gives you strength, even when the world tries to break you. I fought for Lily, for my family, and found my voice. No one can call you useless when you stand tall for what matters. I looked at Lily's drawing, my heart full, and knew I'd do it all again. For her, for me, for the life John and I built.